happy. Okay, so I'm not going to talk for very long because you'll hear from me again in a moment, but I just wanted to say welcome, first of all, and now I'm going to pass back to the lovely ladies from the Ministry of Justice who are going to kick us off this morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the Ministry of Justice. We're really excited to have you here. I've got a few boring things to get out of you first, and then we can get on with the fun stuff. So, first of all, if there is a fire alarm, the exits are indicated out there. They're either to the right or just to the left, directly outside of this room. Toilets are also here and on the ground floor. If you can make sure you stay either on this level or within the sort of atrium area, as we call it, which is just upstairs. And that's all for me. So this is our little indication of what we feel we're trying to say from the Ministry of Justice, that everyone is welcome. So regardless of gender or sexuality or any of the other diversity things, everyone is welcome. I'm Kylie, I'm a product manager here.
I'm Emily and I'm a delivery manager.
So I wanted to talk to you very briefly about why we work at the Ministry of Justice and kind of give you a flavour of the work that we do. So for me, it's that we focus on the why and not the what. So that means for me that it's very much about solving problems, and the way that we do that can be flexible. Revolution, not evolution, was a term coined by Martha Lane Fox when we set up digital government, and it's about trying to make rapid changes rather than slowly over time.
Also, obviously, something that's common across government, but I feel in particular at the Ministry of Justice, is that we can really feel that we're having a meaningful impact on literally millions of people's lives. Obviously, when people are accessing the justice system, they generally don't want to be doing it, and it's probably a very difficult time in their lives. So being able to make that process easier for them is really important. We also have a really fun, relaxed culture here, which is really nice, and I think that's the reason why lots of us have been here for quite a long time. People tend to stay. I actually came here on a graduate scheme and then applied for a permanent role because I really enjoy working here. We've also got great flexible working options, so people can work from home. We've got hubs all over the country that people can work from if they're closer to where they live. And we just kind of trust each other to get the job done. There's no kind of thing like you have to be watched all the time. We've also got great career and personal development opportunities, so we have communities of practice for each of the sort of specialisms across the department.
We also asked some of our colleagues why they chose to work here, so we've got some other answers up there. So agile startup mentality at scale, for example, and cool tech. We all get MacBooks, which is a revelation in government.
This is a figure that some of you might recognise. On average, in the tech industry, about 16% of roles are filled by women, which is pretty low. Here at the Ministry of Justice, we're proud to say that we have 25% women in digital and technology, but that's obviously still pretty low, so we have some work to do. In the department as a whole, we're at 52%, which is just over the UK population percentage, so that's pretty good. But obviously in our area we're not doing so well, so that's something we're working on at the moment. So recently we've started kind of paying more attention to that, and we're taking some actions to try and address it. So we've got a team of people who are working to normalise our workforce. So we've been doing things like getting involved in conferences for women in tech, like this one. We're also speaking at Women of Silicon Roundabout at the end of the month. And we've been encouraging women in the department to go out and talk about working with us to kind of represent us. We've also got a group of straight white males at work who are acting as allies, which is great. So that's been really helpful. They've been kind of making sure that we get opportunities ahead of them and things like that. And they've also been helping us with an amplification experiment. Some of you guys might have read recently about the women in the White House who repeated each other in meetings to make sure that the woman who said it was being heard and was being credited for the idea. So we've been testing that out in meetings at work recently, and those guys have been helping us, which is great.
Another thing we've been thinking about recently is Sheryl Sandberg of Lean In Facebook fame. In her book, she talks about how men, when they get awarded a new position or a promotion, they often attribute their success to just being the best person for the job. However, women are much more likely to say one of three reasons, which is either that they had help from others, that they just got it through luck, or by hard work. And what we want to say is that we should be confident in our own abilities, just in the same way that most men are, and kind of push forward with that. Did anyone see this article that was going around social media in the last few weeks? this was written by a guy called John Greathouse in the Wall Street Journal, who was trying to say that in order for women to get ahead in their careers, an idea might be to present themselves without their gender. So use their initials and not use their photograph on their LinkedIn profile, for example. He since apologised for this. I think he didn't take long to realise that we were all very offended. But it's really important that we be ourselves and not hide away. We should be doing the exact opposite of that. We should be getting out and being ourselves.
So this is a diagram that we found, image, whatever you want to call it, that we found recently that we thought illustrated this idea really well. So you can see how in the first image everyone's been given an equal amount of support, but it means that one person is still disadvantaged. In the second image, they've been given the amount of support they need in order to all feel equal. But then in the final image, the systemic barrier has actually been removed so that no one needs that support anymore, that everyone's able to see without anything. And that's kind of how we feel. We think that rather than hiding our gender to get ahead, we should be getting rid of the barriers in the way of us getting ahead as women.
So what can we do? Well, in this room we have a great community, and there are lots of other great communities. We need to invest in each other. So that's if you know someone, either through your workplace or a friend or a colleague, and you see an opportunity to come to something like this, or perhaps a job opportunity, anything, bring them with you. We need to help each other out and try and address the gender balance.
Also, we're hiring. Secret hidden agenda. We have loads of roles up at the moment because we're expanding our team, and we would love to see some of you guys applying for them and coming here to work with us. So we've just put up a selection of roles here. So we've got product managers, designers, developers, head of digital, which we would love to see as a woman, delivery managers, security engineers, technical architects, head of architecture and security, and that's just to name a few. We actually have a couple of iPads outside which have a Google form on it where you can submit your email address if you're interested in applying. And we would really like it if lots of you would do that, so please consider it. We've also got lots of volunteers around today from the department, so if you've got any questions about the day, about their jobs, about any of the roles we're advertising, anything at all really about working here or about today, then just talk to us or anyone else. We should all be wearing our government glasses, really elegant. So yeah, just come and talk to us, we'd love to talk to you.
And this is just a link to our blog, and we've got our Twitter handle there, so again you can find out more about the jobs we offer and what we do.
Now I think we're handing over to Nathalie.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So, hello. How are we feeling this morning? We're tired? Yeah? So, Geek Girls, we're very good at waking up early in the morning. We love breakfast. We love we love an early start, basically. How many of you have been to a GeekGirl Meetup conference before? Oh, good. Very exciting. So, I have the honor to wish everyone welcome today. Eventually, we'll have some slides behind me. This is GeekGirl Meetup UK's 4th conference, and it's the 4th conference I'm organising, so I'm super excited. It's going to be an exciting day. We have a wonderful lineup of speakers. I'm sure you've seen that on the schedule, and we're going to go through the format and what's going to go on. So, first of all, are we excited? Yeah! Are we excited? Yeah! Great. So, I don't know what slide's coming next even. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick intro of GeekGirl before we get started, but we actually have a special person here today who will be talking in the stories room later on, who is the original founder of GeekGirl Meetup, Heidi Harman. If you want to stand up and wave. So Heidi, in 2009, started GeekGirl Meetup in Sweden as she saw that there was a lack of women at tech conferences, basically. She wanted to see more people to come together because she knew that there was loads of peers that she had around her that that didn't end up going to the tech conferences. So the first conference they organized in Sweden had over 200 people. I don't even know.
No, we were just 60.
You were just 60.
Now we're like...
Now you're like 200 people, 400 people. Every year in Sweden they do the GeekGirl Meetup conference at the Technical Museum, and it's a really, really wonderful day. So Heidi will actually be sharing the full story of GeekGirl Meetup and a little bit what she's doing now, I think, later on. And in the UK, we kicked off the GeekGirl chapter in 2012 with the first conference at Google Campus. We are here to create more female role models. Our aim is to get more women on stage. We're not here to whine about that there's not enough women in tech. We're here to share knowledge with each other and put the awesome people that are doing brilliant things in the community in front of you all. So we have a brilliant team, the GeekGirl team. Kathy, Kaylee, Emma, Georgia, Josie, Katie May, me, Miggy, and Robin. Robin and Josephine are actually, they've flown off to the US, so they're not here with us today. But if you have any questions about GeekGirl, or if you want to know how to get involved and what we're doing and what we're planning to do, then come and find us today. Do I have anything else? Oh yeah, and hashtags.
Social media.
Social media, very important. Please, 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 tweet loads today. Use the hashtag GGM16. We're on Facebook, and if you haven't already, which I assume that all of you have, sign up to our newsletter on geekgirl.co.uk.
Right, thank you, Magda. So, to kind of get us a little bit pumped about what's going on today, you'll notice I do this a lot. When I've got adrenaline, I'm just like, blah, blah, blah. So before we actually kind of kick off and tell you a little bit more about what's happening today, I just want to take a couple of minutes to talk to you about something that we think is very important at GeekGirl Meetup. So, we wouldn't be standing in front of you today, and you wouldn't be sitting in front of us today, if you didn't believe in diversity. Now, we're not just talking about diversity of sexes, but all different types of diversity. Diversity of sexuality, colour, race, origin, age, background, education, religion, language, skills, and thought. We can go on and on about diversity. All of these differences are in this room right now, and it is something to celebrate. We believe that by bringing together different people, you can create something spectacular. Mixed teams create the best companies. Acknowledging where your skills fault and others succeed can enable amazing things. Asking questions of someone different to you can open up a whole world of thinking that you may not have imagined. This week, I'm sure some of you may have seen, at the Conservative Party conference, Amber Rudd, our Home Secretary, basically said that they are announcing plans to make it mandatory for businesses here to reveal how many foreign staff they employ under government plans to force companies to take on more British workers. Of course, we would love to see more companies taking on British workers, but we also love the incredible talent from our friends all over the world. We disagree with this direction, and we know that just within the technology industry alone, this will have a negative effect. We're also aware that since the results of Brexit, which I'm not going to go into, right, okay, shit, anyway, the UK isn't necessarily looking the most favourable for some of you in the room right now. So our point around diversity today, it's not just about men and women. We want to celebrate and highlight everyone in this room. On that note, I'm going to ask you to do something for us now. So I'd like you to take 1 minute, and I'd like you to turn to the people closest to you, find out their names, where they're from, and what they do. And after that minute, we're going to send a little message from our GeekGirl conference to those that do not look favourably on diversity. So I'd like you to take 1 minute now, and if you're quiet, I'm going to point at you. So introduce yourselves to everyone. take out your mobile phone. And in those groups that you've just been talking in, we're going to take a selfie. So I'd like you all right now to take a photo with the people that you've just met at the start of our conference. And I would love it if you can tweet it, put it on Facebook, put it on Instagram, anything you want to do. Use hashtag GGM16. And I want you to celebrate diversity in that To wrap up from me, we know that right now, around the world, there are people that want to progress and take us back to places that we do not want to go. All we can say as GeekGirl Meetup UK is keep fighting, call it out, change it, stay positive, be authentic. My favourite one, remember karma is a bitch, and be the change. On that note, we want you to keep this in mind throughout the day. Try and talk to as many different people as possible. Be inquisitive. Think about the way we're wired and what we want our future to look like. We want you to share what you've learned from someone new today, and we want you to share your wishes for the future. And what we'd love is for you to share those on Twitter with us. We want to hear from you throughout the day what you're learning and what those wishes are. There are going to be some prizes for some of the best things that we see that will be announced at the end of the day. So do go to Twitter and use hashtag GGM16. And yeah, you'll see us at the end of the day. And on that note, have an amazing conference. And I'm going to pass over... Oh, wait, hold on. No, one more thing. I have to do this while I'm on stage, apparently. Oh, it's not there. Oh, we go. Sorry. So first of all, thank you to Ministry of Justice again. Slight plug. If you haven't heard, we have a podcast. And I have to plug it because I host it. So if you want to go and listen to amazing women in tech from all walks of life, please do go and check out GeekGirl Meets on SoundCloud and on iTunes and subscribe. And if you can give me 5 stars and a review, I'd love you forever. That would be great. On that note, I'm going to pass over to Georgia quickly before we go to sponsors.
Cheers, Nathalie. Good morning, everyone. I'm Georgia. A few quick notes on where the different rooms are. So obviously this is the main room where the kind of mainstream of panels and talks and presentations will be happening. We have 2 further rooms. The first one, as you come out on your right, is the workshops room. There are some incredibly exciting events happening there, including Build Your Own Robot in 30 minutes, which, if you haven't seen already on the schedule, looks super amazing. And then the room just next door to that is the stories room, which will be a place for intimate storytelling from some incredible female founders and a chance to kind of really hit the personal side of their journey. And finally, for anyone that's doing podcast recording with Kathy, the room to the at the end on the right is where you'll find that. So, cool. That's it from me.
Really quickly, sorry, flagging. Wi-Fi. Really important thing at a tech conference. Signs around the room. If you struggle, come find one of us and we'll make sure you're hooked up.
I'm just going to shout out to our sponsors. Thanks so much to Cheetah Mobile. Is anyone from Cheetah here already? Yeah. Well, thanks so much for sponsoring us. Just a quick note, Cheetah Mobile is the world's leading mobile tools provider, and it takes pride in providing the fastest, simpler, and safer mobile internet experience for users worldwide. Today, the company is a leading mobile application developer, #2 largest internet and mobile security corporation in China, and the number 3 global non-gaming developer on Google Play. Thanks very much. Well, we got more. Future head.
Hi, I'm Katie May. So massive thanks to Future Heads. Those of you who don't know who they are a recruitment agency. They recruit across a number of different digital disciplines. If you check out these handy flyers in your tote bags, there you go. They are absolutely awesome. I've used them both from a recruiting people and from candidate side, so I really recommend them. And we have 2 of their amazing recruiters here today. Can you say hi to everyone? So if you are looking to hire awesome people or you're looking for a new opportunity, definitely recommend talking to these ladies. Thanks.
So I don't think we've got anyone here from Busuu just yet, but I am actually a Busuu ex-employee, so I thought I'd say a few words. Busuu is an online language learning company. They have over 50 million language learners worldwide. So it's completely free to use. And I guess the real difference between them and other sort of language learning platforms is that they really they see themselves as a community space. So rather than just learning lessons, you'll actually be getting your work marked by someone in Brazil who actually speaks Portuguese. So it's a really amazing sort of social, both web and mobile platform for you. And they are also hiring. If you have any more questions about them, you can come and talk to me about that later, or it's just like busuu.com. Are we going to talk about TechCrunch?
I'm not, because TechCrunch is here.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So, Nisha, if you want to come up and tell us a little bit about TechCrunch. So we're really delighted this year that we've got TechCrunch on board as a media partner, specifically for TechCrunch Disrupt. But you are the TechCrunch lady, so you will tell us everything.
Well, while we're getting that up, hi everyone, my name is Nisha Tambe. I work at TechCrunch. I am based out of San Francisco, and I actually just flew in this week. Finally got over jet lag, and I'm very excited to be here with you all. I know we're thrilled for this partnership. Okay, great. So a little bit, who here has heard of TechCrunch? Okay, so I'm not going to go into what TechCrunch does, but what we did notice is, as all of you are well aware, is the significant lack of diversity in tech. And so with taking that into consideration, a couple of years ago we launched a program called TechCrunch Include. Diversity is central to TechCrunch, and so TechCrunch Include basically uses TechCrunch resources and aims to push both gender and ethnic diversity in the tech space, as well as all forms of diversity, ability, etc. We do that in 3 primary ways: through partnerships, events, and editorial. Recently, we did a partnership with Crunchbase and did a deep analysis of women in tech as well as VCs in tech globally. In the U.S., since 2009, there were about 9.5% of founding teams that had at least one female founder. It is heartening to see that at the end of 2014, that number has nearly doubled to 18%. Yes, that is not parity yet, but we are inspired and motivated by that uptake. However, we did a research on the top 100 global VCs and found that there's only 7% of investing partners that are women. Definitely something that we're looking to help support and push and grow. Finally, when we researched all of the founders, the US-based female founders, we took the top 25 schools, and interestingly enough, even though they're US founders, there were 3 schools, Oxford, Cambridge, and the London School of Economics, that made it to the top 25. So you all should be very, very proud of yourselves. Now, in terms of events, we do several things. One, we host office hours every month. We connect with an investor and then invite diverse founders, our Include partners, to come and meet with these investors. We also hold Women in TechCrunch events, which I'll get to in just a moment. And finally, we made a special editorial focus to include and push diversity. We made a diversity-focused hire who concentrates on women in tech and diversity issues. We're excited that at our conference, we had 47% of our judges as women, so we're really close to hitting parity, which we're thrilled about. And in San Francisco this year, we were able to jump from 24% to 32% of women on stage. Now, this conference I'm talking about, Disrupt London. Who here has heard of Disrupt London? Great. Happy to see so many hands. For those of you that don't know, Disrupt is TechCrunch's preeminent global startup conference. We have several components to the conference. One is our stage content, where we have tech luminaries duking it out with our writers and producing some really incredible content and speaker series. We also have Battlefield. Battlefield is TechCrunch Disrupt's startup launch competition. Our teams have raised over $6.2 billion over the duration of Battlefield, and companies that have launched on our stage include Dropbox, Mint.com, Yammer. We had JukeDeck from London last year who won the competition. We also have Startup Alley. Startup Alley is the heart of our show floor where we exhibit early stage companies. Now we are looking for founders to apply for both Battlefield. Applications end next week, so if you do have a startup, please come talk to me. I would love to hear about it, and we'd love to get you into both the Battlefield competition as well as Startup Alley. And now finally, as was mentioned earlier, we do have some really cool prizes for you guys, and that is tickets to our Women in TechCrunch event. One of the things we decided to do as a part of TechCrunch Include is host Women in TechCrunch events before every one of our major conferences. This is a private, invitation-only networking event for high-level women in each of the areas that we host our conferences. So if you do have a moment, please do tweet your thoughts from Geek Girl today, and the winners will actually receive a ticket to our Women in TechCrunch event. So go ahead and take down my email. It is misha@techcrunch.com. If you have a startup and are interested in participating in our startup competition, please apply at apply.techcrunch.com. We are really pushing for female founders this year, so if you have a company, again, please come find me. And we would like to invite all of you to come attend the conference, and we've provided a special promo code for those of you who are here today. Thank you so much.
Okay, so after a momentary pause, we are going to go into our first talk, and this is one I am very excited about because I pestered Nathalie about this months and months and months ago. I've had the pleasure of interviewing Nathalie for GeekGirl Meetup. She is a wonderful web psychologist, author and speaker, and possibly one of the loveliest people you will ever meet, by the way. So Nathalie, please come up. And while you walk up here, just to say a quick, massive thank you to all of our helpers today as well from the Ministry of Justice and our Geek Girl volunteers. So you'll see Geek Girl volunteers are wearing some swag, and the MOJ have got a load of team around as well. So do go and say hi to them as well. And on that note, my dear, please take the stage. Thank you.
Can everyone hear if I speak like this, or should I get them? That's better, isn't it? Hi. Okay, right. Actually, can I put on my Sorry. Starting with the farting sound. It's always it's a real honour and privilege to be here. I'm actually quite nervous because this matters to me a lot more than a lot of, I shouldn't really say that sort of being filmed, but a lot of the conferences that you go to where you just get on stage and do your spiel, and diversity is something that I really believe in. My family comes from all over the world. My mum was born in Iran, my dad was born in Gibraltar. We've got family from all kinds of places. And we've got some fantastically strong women in my family, and it's just nice to see so many people here supporting all of that diversity. So I thought we'd kick off with something quite fun. Seeing as we're talking about the way that we're wired, I thought we'd do something a little bit interactive around personality. So, typically, when you go online and you're getting a personalised experience, you might get something that's based on your past behaviours or based on, I don't know, the preferences that you might have said that you have on Facebook or your likes. And increasingly, the smarter the personalisation, if the brand is someone that you trust and that you like, the better the experience for the end user, for all of us, or the experiences that we're creating for our customers. And one of the ways in which you can personalise more effectively is to use the personality traits as researched across a whole bunch of psychological literature to engage with people at a more fun and perhaps meaningful level. So, I want to start with one of my favourite restaurants in the whole of London. Does anyone recognise this place? It's in Soho? No? Okay. So this place is Duck Soup, and it is tiny, and it's wedged, I think it's on Dean Street. It's on Dean Street, isn't it? Yeah. And it's wedged into this tiny little kind of narrow building, and it's always overcrowded, and the wine is really expensive, and I don't go there too often, but it's one of my favourite ones. And the reason it's one of my favourite ones is because one of my dear friends took me there, and he said, Nat, you've got to go there. Their whiskies are amazing, it's really, really fun. And we went, and I've had some fantastic nights there. But if I'd have gone to their website, it looks, I mean, it's fairly banal, it's fine looking, not particularly exciting. If I'd gone there and checked them out, also maybe on TripAdvisor or on Yelp, 3.5 stars, doesn't look particularly exciting, I probably wouldn't have gone. So why did I end up going there? Well, the point was that it had been recommended by a friend, someone I trust, someone I like, who is used to the odd wild night out, who knows what good food is, and who I believe is going to give me a recommendation that is going to be pretty good. And so when we're trying to persuade people to take actions, whether on or offline, we've got to think about what's going to make that message more persuasive. And persuasion generally rests on how much we trust and like either the person or the brand, so whatever the source is. And when we're thinking about how we trust or like someone, the principle of homophilia is really important, and this is our love of the same, our tendency to associate with similar other people. It's also one of the reasons why sometimes we have to be much more deliberate in making sure that we open up our social groups to include people who are different from us, because we're hardwired for similarity. But when you're thinking about personalization and persuasion, homophilous sources, so those that we perceive to be like us, whether that's through values or appearance, whatever it might be, they're much more likely to be perceived by us as credible and reliable, which means that the effectiveness of their message is going to be much higher. Also, I will put these slides up later, so don't feel like you have to take notes if that's something you like to do. So if you want to leverage this in your relationships or in your customer experience or in your branding, you have to be able to understand and mirror your audience. So who are you trying to reach? What's motivating them? What are the things that they're going to trust and like? And of course, personality is a great way to do this. And when you look at the research that's been conducted, you'll find that when you adapt persuasive messages to particular personality traits, it can really increase the impact of your message. And this is in any form of content, whether it's copy or headlines or particular video campaigns that you might choose to make. So how do you go about doing it? Well, I thought we would take a little quiz, and because I am slightly geeky and it's the Ministry of Justice and it made me think of the Ministry of Magic, we're going to go with a Harry Potter style. Right, so I want you to put your hand up, don't be shy, if you are organised, dependable and self-disciplined, and if you prefer to plan and aim for achievement. If that sounds like you, like, yeah, that's me. Okay, great. Okay, if you had your hand up, that's a lot of people, we're going to get shit done. You are probably high in conscientiousness. Now I have to tell you, if you don't have your hand up, you're a little bit fucked. This is one of the most reliable indicators for overall life success. You're not fucked, you'll be fine. There are ways around strategizing. Please don't leave feeling absolutely horrible, because I would feel dreadful if you did. But if you are conscientious, you're much more likely to have better lifetime outcomes around things like health, because you'll look after yourself. You won't just eat all the donuts every day, or you might if you're me, but then you'll have to fast 2 days a week. Also things like your relationships, you'll be more conscientious of the other person, and the list goes on. People who are high in conscientiousness tend to be very tenacious, they tend to be quite dependable, self-disciplined, cautious but not afraid, just like, I'm going to take an educated risk, and also quite decisive. So who do you think out of the Harry Potter people this is going to be? Shout it out, people. Hermione. Let's start with a lady. Yeah, she's totally conscientious and she kicks ass because of it. You're never going to get let down if there's, weird shit happening and she's around. Okay, so for people who are lower, at the lower end of conscientiousness, and it is a spectrum and things do fluctuate throughout our lifetime, so don't feel like strapped in. People who are lower tend to be less ambitious, a little bit more disorganised. They often prefer chaos, so possibly quite creative. Can also be quite frivolous and impulsive. Who do you think this might be in the world of Harry Potter? Ron? Yes! My favourite character. Ronald Weasley, yeah, he's definitely at the lower end of conscientious. Okay, are we good so far? Some smiling faces, okay. Second trait, put your hand up if you are energetic and positive, assertive and sociable, and if you tend to seek stimulation in the company of others. So if you're like, oh my god, there's always new people. Oh, loads of us. Oh, great. Well, you kind of would expect that for a meetup. So, yeah, I really hate meetups, I'm going to go. So if you have your hand up for that, You'd probably score higher for extroversion. Okay, some nods of agreement there. So if you are higher in extroversion, you're likely to have these sorts of traits that define parts of your character. So you're much more likely to be gregarious, to be sensation-seeking, assertive, optimistic, and warm. So people who start up things like this when everyone else is going, what the hell are you doing? Or people who go bungee jumping with their dogs. Or with us. Maybe not with their dogs. Actually, there are some dogs doing this in anti-poaching things in Africa, but they're not bungee jumping, they abseil. From helicopters. I'm not making this shit up. I've completely gone off track. Okay, so which people do you think are high in extroversion out of the Harry Potter crew?
The twins.
The twins, yes. Yeah, we're actually giving out points like gold star. Yes, the twins, they are absolutely incredibly extroverted. And probably, perfect example. If you are at the lower end of the spectrum, you're probably more, you're probably going to rate more for introversion. So you might be a bit more reserved and thoughtful, a bit more silent, someone who gets easily absorbed, and often has a very rich fantasy life. So some of the greatest poets of our time, very introverted characters. Who do we think this might be in Harry Potter?
Luna?
Yes! We're going to have to, like, you're going to have that animosity on the next one. Who's going to get what's your name?
Emily.
Emily is definitely winning here. Yes, Luna, she's amazing. Very fancy prone, quite reserved and utterly delightful. Moving to the third trait, put your hand up if you have a high degree of intellectual curiosity, creativity, and a preference for novelty and variety. It's probably most of us. Okay. So this is a really interesting trait. This is for openness. And those of us who score very highly in openness are much more likely to try unusual things. They're likely to be the early adopters, people who you'll find set movements alike and kind of go, yes, I've got this amazing idea, and everyone else is kind of going, well, we're not quite there yet. So often innovators score very high in openness. So if you had your hand up, your traits are likely to include being creative, being novelty-seeking, as I mentioned, intellectually curious, probably quite imaginative and adventurous. And this can be quietly, if you're introverted and open, it might be more adventurous in terms of the kind of thinking that you do or the art galleries that you see. Or if you're really extroverted, it might be things like going on really weird roller coasters or VR. Who do we think is going to be high in openness? This is a slightly more fringe character, although the hardcore fans will hate me for saying that. Who do you think? Openness. Who's really open and quirky and believes in like random stuff that is possibly not in existence?
Oh, Luna?
Who's her dad? See, I didn't remember his name. So I don't remember his name. Extra bonus points. Go home. Yes! Oh my god! That's like a trio of awesomeness. Xenophilius, which means lover of people, right? It's the opposite of xenophilius. Yeah. Excellent. This is good. I had to look his name up. I should have just brought you along. Okay. So if you are low in openness, you're much more likely to be traditional, a bit more conventional, more conservative, also more inflexible and authoritarian. So someone who likes kind of the status quo in some respects. Who do we think this person might be? She's also quite sadistic. Who? No, although you would be a good one actually. Yeah, Professor Uggers, she is a bitch. And I'm not saying that if you're low in openness, you're a bitch. That's not what I mean. She's just a bitch. But it's also low in openness. I think we can all agree on that. And she has a horrible laugh. Okay, so hands up for number 4. Do you have the tendency to be compassionate and cooperative rather than suspicious and antagonistic? So if you're more of a lover than a fighter. Okay, most of us. Now I have to say, if you did have your hand down, it's also okay because you need people at the opposite end of the spectrum who are going to tell you the hard truths, especially on teams. You kind of go, I don't care if you like me or not, this is absolutely shit, do something different, and then it raises your game. For instance, they might not have as many friends, but it's quite useful to face. So if you are more compassionate and cooperative, you're probably going to be higher in agreeableness. And people who are higher in agreeableness are also more likely to be influenced by social norms and trends. So, if you are high in this trait, you are likely to be very pleasant, you're going to be fairly harmonious with other people. Often, people high in agreeableness can be very trusting and emotionally responsive. So, quite light, kind of like a chinchilla maybe or something. Right, who do we think is high in agreeableness out of the Harry Potter class?
Dumbledore.
Is he, though? Towards the end, he's a bit like, ooh. Well, that was a good guess. Well, no, but we are going to stick with the males. Maybe a bit bigger? Yes, okay. Yeah, see? Oh, lovely Hagrid. Yes, okay. If you are at the opposite end of the spectrum to Hagrid, and you're very low in agreeableness, you're probably going to be a bit more cynical, you might be more competitive, aggressive, individualistic, and ruthless. Now, who do you think...
Snape.
Oh, actually, yes, he'd be a good one. But the thing is, it's with a heart of gold, isn't it? Because he's always trying to... So Snape, he could be. I've got one of the younger ones. Yeah, Draco, exactly. Yeah, he's pretty ruthless, but again, he could easily be swayed, so, you know, nature, nurture, and all that. Right, fifth trait, going off on tangents, it's because I'm excited that I'm here. So the fifth trait, put your hand up if you have the tendency to experience... Oh, no, actually, I don't want you to put your hand up, because this might be less comfortable. But this is our tendency to experience unpleasant emotions more easily. So things like anger, anxiety, depression, and vulnerability. Now, I have to say at this point, this is something that everyone, everywhere in the world experiences, unless they don't have a brain and they're not alive. Right, just saying. So this is something that everyone experiences. And at certain points in our lives, we might go through periods where we experience this more, or, like some members in my family, they might have this and just have it as a trait that is accompanying them throughout their life. So I don't want you to feel bad about it. Also, mindfulness is extremely good at helping with these things, especially the Headspace app, which is something that I use, which is really good. So, if you feel that this resonates with you, it's related to the trait of emotional stability and how resilient we are in the face of adverse situations. So if you're high in emotional stability, people who are high in it tend to be very much more relaxed, even-tempered, they can cope with things quite easily, they're self-confident, resilient, and calm. I know quite a few friends who are completely unflappable, I don't know how, but they are. And so who do you think might be emotionally very stable and kind of consistent in Harry Potter? We've mentioned already, one of the old males. Like he just gets shit done, and you're like, well, I have no idea how they're doing this. But he actually manages to stay extremely calm to the point that it's a little bit freaky. So someone who's low in emotional stability is probably at the extreme end going to be a lot more anxious, can potentially be hostile, often may feel vulnerable, self-conscious, and dysphoric, so experience lower mood states. And the person that I've chosen for this, because I actually really like her character, is Moni Mercel. She's not had a good time with things, but her character is amazing. So I thought we would put this into practice and check how it applies online, because obviously we're in tech, so we've got to have some relevance. Which of the 5 traits do you think this next example appeals to? So it says, catching Pokemon in London just became even more awesome with this exciting new method. Focus on the exciting new method.
Number 3.
Which one was that one? I've forgotten now. Because I switched up the order to make it more fun.
The openness and innovator.
Openness, well, there's openness and extroversion will often relate with that one, but yes. And they actually, openness and extroversion go into the macro trait, which is plasticity, who are likely to find that. So yes, I would probably say more extroversion, but openness would also work. Degree Adrenaline Series for men. I just love the name, but this is basically stuff that's going to make you not sweat or smell too bad. You've got adventure, sport, defence, extreme. It's like fucking deodorant. Protection, push you to the limit. It's like, no, just have a shower. You'll be fine. It's just about, you know, quite sexy content. So basically, if you're high in extroversion, these words have been found to be much more exciting for you, or more engaging for you. So if you see an ad and you split test it, and you go, right, we're going to do one deodorant for the extroverts and one for the people who are less extroverted, the extroverts are more likely to respond to things like strong, outgoing, active, excitement, attention, thrill-seeking, adventure, all of that stuff. Okay, what about these ones? We've got... I love this one, it can be so misread. Experiment and surprise yourself with mobile. Vibrate settings on. Too early. So we've got this one, and then also think different. Who do you think this is going to go for? Experimenting, a bit novel. This one's a lot more for openness. Yeah, and people who are high in openness are much more likely to respond to words such as innovation, intelligence, sophistication, imagination, and creativity. Anything that kind of is intellectually thought-provoking and exciting. All right, which traits do you think these next products are targeting? So you've got Nivea Men and Women Stress Protect. Stress Protect, so that you get your stress sweating and then I'll protect you. There's also, it's actually a really brutal campaign. There's something I need to tell you. That's never going to be good, is it? That puts you into a cold sweat straight away. Or the other one, we need to talk. But you can tell it's for Brits, because in the UK, it's like, you know, you hear that and you think, oh shit, please don't talk to me. If you're in Germany, you'll probably be fine. Or not, you know. So who do you think that's targeting? People who have a trait or state of low emotional stability, so it's more about stress and anxiety. So you can use it as a trait or a state. I'm hoping this video might work. We'll see what you think of this. It might, may not. Oh, it doesn't work. Okay, never mind. We're short on time anyways, it's fine. So if people are low in emotional stability, these sorts of words are going to be much more resonating to them. So safety, anxiety, reducing the uncertainty, talking about security and protection. Okay, a few more listings. So Hootsuite, one of the lines here says, the most popular social management tools, so the most popular, it's about people. Who do we think? So people who kind of get on with everyone, yeah, it's all nice, I'm quite a cooperative person. Agreeableness, yeah, exactly. So people who are high in agreeableness often use the words we and are a lot more frequently than people who are low in it. The focus is often on friends and family, so if you can use things like communal goals, talking about home life, and even lists and numbers for some reason, don't ask me, the researchers found it out, that's going to be really useful for your content and your marketing. Another example, save time managing multiple social networks. So this is about efficiency and goals. Who do we think that's going to appeal to? Yeah, conscientiousness. The Hermiones of this world. So talking in terms of goals, efficiency, sense of duty and achievement. Also guilt. It's like, shit, if I don't get this done. I mean, that's how I've built my career in some ways. That and high competitiveness. Yeah, you're going to end up getting more of these people interested in interacting with you. So the point of all of this is to say that specific words and specific themes engage particular traits. And so if you want to design for personality-specific campaigns, products, content, you have to understand the motivations behind each trait and then understand how your audience is segmented if they have a variety of different traits that are prominent. So I thought if you're interested in applying this, I've got the 5 traits and the motivations and then some tools that you can use to check it out. So if you want to engage open people, I realize the contrast is not great. You can't see this at the back, can you? I'll just read it out. Okay, don't worry, we'll be fine. Open traits. Motivation is going to be around creativity and intellectual stimulation. So if you're creating a campaign for open people, that might be a good place to start. If you want to reach people who are high in conscientiousness, focusing on efficiency and goal pursuit. For extroverts, it's going to be things around excitement, social rewards. Public praising can work quite well. For people high in agreeableness, it's going to be focused on your connection with friends and family, on meetups of similar, like-minded others. And for people who are lower in emotional stability, it's going to be focusing on safety and security and making people feel comfortable. We all got screenshots? Okay, cool. Also, if you go on SlideShare, it's all up there, so you can find all the notes and references. So to get you started, there are 5 links that you can check out. The first one, the big 5, you can try it yourself and see actually how you rank. There's also some fantastic personality tests that you can find on the Cambridge University website, and it's discovermyprofile.com. That's also quite fun. There's also a white label product that they do called Apply Magic Source, which allows you to extract, and this is the ethical question mark, I have thoughts about that, but it allows you to extract psychographic information of the big 5 personality traits from people simply based on their Facebook likes, and it's extraordinarily accurate, so just FYI. Now you're going to be like, unlike, really creepy computer system. You can also do it with general digital footprints, so not just Facebook, but all your social channels with Hogan-X.com. And if you're interested in like long-form content, text, you can use computerized text analysis, which is an academic grade tool, which you're also welcome to check out, and that's liwc.wpengine.com. So, thanks for going on that really quick whistle-stop Harry Potter / personality tour with me. I'm going to be around all day. I think we're going to have like a 15-minute AMA thing at some point, maybe, like the story room. Anyway,
I want you in the stories room. You've got no choice. You're there after this.
Right, there. So I will see you then. Thank you very much for your time and attention, and enjoy your day.
Okay guys, as you can see from your schedule, the next thing we've got in this room will be the mental health panel. So if we could just arrange anybody that's going to speak for that, we'll sort you out at the front, and if everyone else could just hold tight for a couple of minutes. Cheers.
Yeah, I'm gonna